this.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm your left side of the bed host, Madelyn.
I'm your right side of the bed host, Emma.
And welcome to Talk This NYC HQ, featuring the two Talk This sisters in the same room.
Jazz hands.
Normally you don't say jazz hands.
Well, this is an audio podcast, so we are doing this in an audio format.
As opposed to what other kind of podcast?
A video podcast.
Is it a podcast still? If it's a video podcast?
Well, I don't know what else you'd call it. I mean, you could...
video?
You do... Yeah, but it's a specific format. Like, video is so all-encompassing. Like, this is, like, an audio track or a recording, right? But that's not the genre.
I guess.
And it's a little different. Like, if we were doing this, it wouldn't necessarily be like a vlog exactly either.
I guess. Only because it's two... Vlogs are usually one person.
Yeah.
A two-person vlog.
I think you could have a video podcast, and you could have live podcast recordings.
Yeah, but that's like the event, right?
Yeah.
You know, if we had people sitting here, it would be a live podcast.
Just let me say my jazz hands.
Jazz hands! Thanks for tuning in to this side quest episode of Talk This. We're excited to have you with us today as we download our saved data onto this audio file that's in your ears right now. And we talk about our weather report, our traffic report, we venture into the off-topic corner, and we close it off with our question of the fortnight.
And we talk a little bit about what we've been playing the last 2 weeks.
That's what the saved data is.
Did you say save data?
I downloaded it into your audio file ears. We're too busy thinking I was stupid to register what I was saying.
Yeah. Well, the listeners were too, so it was helpful for them to remind them that there's also the save data.
There's also saved data, in case you missed it. And in case you missed it again, we're going to go ahead and start with saved data.
Okay.
So, Emma, talk to me about what you've been playing these past couple of weeks.
You know, it's actually kind of hard to remember. I'm trying to pinpoint what I've been playing. I played a little indie game on my Switch that was called The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince, which is like a little fairy tale story in which you are a wolf, and there's a prince who likes your singing, but he climbs up to come and see you one day, and you don't want him to see you, so you accidentally claw his eyes out.
Oh.
It's not bloody. It's like fairy tale-like. Sort of urban fairy tale-like. And you feel bad about it, so you go and try to break him out of the castle so that you can bring him to the witch who can restore his eyes. And the witch also gives you the power to transform into like a princess form. So you can lead the now blind prince through the forest, but you're lying about the fact that you are a princess as opposed to a wolf. It's cute.
Sounds cute.
No, it is. It's cute. I really like, you have to like, you can tell the prince to do things after a certain point, like walk one way or pick something up, but most of the time you have to walk around holding him by the hand. And when you hold hands, you have to like press a button to do it, and the two sprites get all smiley because they like each other. It's so cute. Yeah, the puzzles can be a little frustrating. Like, because you have to hold hands with the prince, like, sometimes you have to, like, walk off edges and land on, like, the soft part so that you don't die. But sometimes the prince will go flying off the edge for no inexplicable reason and miss the soft part and die, and then you have to start over again.
Who needs the prince?
The whole point of what you're doing is because of the prince. So, and also, by the end of the game, he actually is very useful for solving puzzles. You have to, like, leave him on switches, and you can pick stuff up, and he can carry the fire because you're afraid of fire.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, because you're a wolf.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I also played more Nier Automata, Game of the Yorha edition. And I think that's about it, honestly.
Is that a joke? Like a Game of the Year joke?
Yeah, I think
Game
so.
of the Yorha?
They released like, it for Xbox, they made it a Become as Gods edition, and then this one is a re-release for, I think, the PS4 and PC. That is Game of the Yorha edition. But yeah, it's a pun.
Man, who got to pull the trigger on that?
Probably Yoko Taro. Honestly.
But who came up with it? Like, who was the first one who was sitting in, like, in a meeting and was like, I've got it.
Somebody at Squeenix, you know?
Well, thanks. Yeah. That narrows it down a lot.
Yeah.
I hope it was an intern.
I hope it was an intern.
Feels like the kind of thing that, like, the interns would, like, it'd be like a joke. They'd be like, haha, we're gonna win Game of the Yorha. And then somebody heard it and was like, Game of the Yorha.
That's clever. No, I honestly don't know why they felt the need to come up with a new subtitle for this version, because it's the same one as the Xbox one they released. It's just the game package with all the DLC. So I don't know why it couldn't have just been also Become as Gods edition. But I don't know.
Either they decided they didn't like Become as Gods as a title, or they wanted to get a new round of press that was a lot fresher.
Yeah.
I wonder which.
I guess either.
I think definitely the second one, but okay.
Yeah.
So, I feel like these side quests have been sneaking up on me lately. 2 weeks feels like a really long time when you say the words 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't we record our last side quest, like, maybe 36 hours ago?
No.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
Because otherwise it would be sad that I don't really have that much to report, wouldn't it?
Yeah, would. Yeah, it would.
Well, folks, Talk This fans, I've been letting you down. There's not been that much video game playing that has occurred here at Casa NYC Talk This.
Madelyn's a busy beaver.
It's been very hard lately to carve out time for games. I feel like I understand the adult people who are like, video games? How do you have time for video games? That kind of mindset, because I really haven't this week. This past 2 weeks, rather. I did manage to play a little bit more of Kingdom Hearts 3. Not really sure when I made I have advanced in the plot more. Not really exactly sure when that happened, as the last few months feel like just one long blur of a day, for the most part. However...
More importantly, she tracked down all the lucky emblems she needed.
By which I mean 30.
30 whole lucky emblems.
I've discovered that Clickbait Boyfriend is a true lucky emblem prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
He got really good at finding them. So he's got, I think, has he gotten to 60? I can't remember if he actually got to 60.
You said like 57.
Yeah, he's at like
night.
57 or 50. I couldn't remember if he had been played more. But no, he got to 57 or 58. So he's very close to attaining the level necessary for his standard difficulty playthrough. Which just makes me feel all the worse about how hard it was for me to find 30.
They're hard to find, honestly. Especially like the first time through a world when you're not really paying attention to it.
It makes me nervous how much extra content there is, though, that I have not completed, and that apparently the lucky emblems are the only ones that are necessary. Like, I don't believe that there's not a secret hidden movie that you have to, like, sign a contract not to tell anyone about.
I don't think so.
Unless you platinum.
I don't think so. I don't think that's how it works. There's more mini games in all the worlds. There's some post-game stuff that gives you a few things. But no, there's no secret movie, as far as I know.
Right, but if you knew, you wouldn't be able to tell me.
Because I signed the contract? I don't think that's how it works. Somebody would have leaked it by now.
I know. It makes me antsy. It's like, what are all of these stupid Mickey Mouse mini games for on my phone? Like, why?
I don't know. Maybe there'll be something for DLC down the line. You have to do them.
Maybe. But yeah, I'm trying to think of if I have played or even watched the playing of anything else, and I'm drawing a big old blank. It's just been an exhausting couple of weeks up here, and I'm hoping that in the next 2 weeks that I'll be able to finish Kingdom Hearts 3. I can't believe it's taken me 2 months.
Yeah. Oh! I feel like last time we recorded, because like the day afterwards, after I said that Vesperia would never end until I was old and gray, I actually finished Vesperia. It was so long ago now that it didn't feel like it should be in this side quest. But I did indeed finish Vesperia. Not all the content I could do, but the main story. I even went out of my way to get the apparently ultimate weapons of the game that are the fell arms that honestly seem pretty crappy to me, and it also gave the final boss a really hard final form. So I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I did that to myself.
Masochism.
Literally only Yuri's seems at all useful. Like, Flynn's fell arm gives him not useful skills. It just means he, like, dies instead of other party members dying. And also is, like, 500 damage less in both physical and magic attack. So I feel like I'm missing the point of it.
It's just like that anecdote you sent me about the Final Fantasy magic, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember it well enough to tell. Like
some ultimate sword or something in like Final Fantasy 2, which actually did not very much damage, and the developer was like, "It's because it's ancient." Shows how futile this stuff is and how far they've advanced or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he just made a mistake in the code.
And they were like, recode it. And he was like, no. And he didn't.
Which I'm mad props to him, you know? He came up with a valid gameplay and storytelling reason.
Do you think he kept his job?
I don't know.
Do you think they like found an excuse to fire him soon after?
Was he good enough at his job?
I mean, clearly not.
Yeah, makes one mistake, but how vital is he to the rest of the...
A pretty big mistake.
It's not that big of a mistake.
Okay.
How many people get that weapon?
I don't know. Fair number.
Sure.
How many completionists are there who play a game?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how many there were in Final Fantasy 2 times. Related question, did they fire the entire QA team?
Well, I think probably the QA team found it, so no.
Oh. I thought it was after the game had been released.
No, I think it was before the game. The other, they couldn't fix it
right.
if it was after it was released. This was
You're right.
Old times, Madelyn.
Oh, man. This week, the episode is titled, Madelyn is Dumb.
Yeah, that's what it's usually titled.
It doesn't show up that way on my Apple podcast.
Yeah, well, I make special settings. I'm the one who publishes it, so you wouldn't know about it.
Yeah. You're right. Okay. Anyway, it's cloudy in the sky, and crash! There's a thunderstorm! It's the weather report!
Where did that come from?
I don't know, I was feeling sad.
Okay.
Because you made fun of me.
I see.
This week, and because it's a kind of an ominous question that I'm gonna ask, so our weather report question this week is whether Emma is going to make it out of PAX alive.
Just thinking about how long those days are makes me want to die already. So, you know.
Good. Bodes well.
Promising start.
So, Talk This listeners, the Talk This sisters are going to be at PAX East in Boston this time actually not this time in 2 weeks because it's Sunday, but the past few days in 2 weeks, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And just tonight we went through, not tonight, it's noon on a Sunday. Just this morning.
Yeah.
Why do I do this? Why do I keep up this convention? I don't know. And I don't even keep it up. But today we went through the schedule online, which, man, there is a lot going on at PAX. It's PAX with sessions.
Oh!
Was not good. I should have found a way to use PAX, the word, instead of... Anyway, okay, whatever, fine. I'll get back to the point. We put our schedule together, and it's going to be some crazy days.
Yeah.
First day, we've even made it longer for ourselves because we're going to a concert after PAX.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 super long days after that.
Yeah.
So, will we survive?
Will they have coffee there?
I mean, you know they'll have coffee there.
They've got to. How else? Because then the answer is no, I will not survive. Just need excess amounts of coffee all day, every day that we're at PAX.
We'll get you an IV.
That's basically what I need. You're right. Just skip the coffee, just straight caffeine into my brain cells.
That's not safe.
Wherever it goes.
This is a good answer to a question for the question of the fortnight, I think. But we'll get there. So if you have any tips for how to handle conventions and keep yourself alive and still getting as much out of it as you possibly can, definitely let us know. Also, if you have any tips for how to convince Emma to enter the Overcooked 2 and or Worms 2 Armageddon tournaments with me and or Sushi Go.
I'm not ready to be humbled by the true experts of Sushi Go. You know, like, I can beat my little sisters at Sushi Go.
No, they are the true experts of Sushi Go.
No, I can still beat them at Sushi Go. I understand all the deck things, and they do not. Still, one day that will change, I'm sure. But I can't face down the industry experts. I'll bring shame upon my Sushi Go family.
It's true. You'll be sushi gone.
Exactly. We did see some fun panels though, so I'm looking forward to it. I just also think I'm going to be exhausted.
Well, don't give us tips like wear comfortable shoes and drink water.
Yeah.
Give us real tips.
That. We have to probably check to see if we can bring water, or if we have to like bring empty water bottles and then fill them up.
Well, what does it matter?
Well, so we don't pour water everywhere.
So.
I don't know.
Make an entrance. Make a real entrance.
Something to check. That's all I was thinking about.
Believe it or not, this year they did not ask us to do a live podcast recording at PAX.
We think it's a real oversight, honestly.
Yeah. Maybe the letter got lost in the mail.
Yeah.
Maybe it got sorted into spam or something.
We do have a couple of addresses. My door mail's pretty slow.
Yeah. So, PAX, if you've been waiting to hear from us...
We're here.
Yeah. You can call.
Yeah.
We're happy to set it up.
55555. Our number.
I don't know how many fives that was.
Not the right amount, probably.
There was like a 5 down in there. It's like, do you have to like stutter it on the... You like half press it?
Yeah. That's how you do it.
Well, we're here, just in case. You're gonna put us in that prime 11:30 p.m. slot.
Yeah. Live
podcast recording. But look for us at least one day in the Talk This t-shirts, and other days in other... Is PAX the kind of thing that people, like, cosplay to?
Maybe?
We should probably look that up.
I don't know if you... Like, it's not, like, something you have to cosplay.
Well, I realize it's not have to.
Other conventions where it's more frequent. But, I'm sure some people will probably come. There was, like, a cosplay event.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things, so...
Well, look for us in the Talk This t-shirts one day. Emma in her Persona 5 subtle cosplay.
Yeah.
The other day. And who knows what else. And now, folks, it's time to immerse ourselves in this week's Off-Topic Corner.
Not as off-topic as usual.
So, this weekend, Emma came to visit New York, partially to see me, but mostly to fulfill a requirement for her Imaginary Worlds course.
Yeah, we've talked about this on the podcast before. I solicited ideas, of which none of you were very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go to a themed attraction. So some sort of immersive space that's around some sort of imaginary world, whether that be Thomas the Tank Engine, going to Disney World, or in our case, going to Passport to Iron City, the Alita Battle Angel experience.
And it was an experience.
Yeah. It was not quite what I was expecting, I think. I sort of expected it to be more intense than it was. I'm not necessarily upset that it wasn't as intense as it was, but I was kind of expecting there to be, like, more people in character and, like, have more space to sort of walk around and not be, like, in this tiny... Like, I didn't think it would be huge. I didn't think it would be as small as the room we were in was.
Yeah, it was pretty small. And just not that impressive. Yeah. There were definitely portions of it that were fun. Like, I'm not going to say don't go. It was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, for $20, that's about the same, maybe less than an escape room. Like, we got this for $20 and we went, and it's basically the same level of fun as that.
I like escape rooms better than that, personally. Just because, it's a slightly smaller group, and you get to work on the puzzles for a little bit more of a sustained amount of time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just did a pretty good escape room a couple weeks ago, so that's partially why I'm comparing it unfavorably.
I feel like if they had found a way to have more, like, narrative justification for their puzzles. Like, some of them did. And some of them felt like they were reaching the right sort of balance between sort of easy activity and fitting in with the idea of the world of Iron City. And some of them were just like, stick your hand in this bag and tell me what this is.
I know, too much of it felt like they had a book of, like, 8-year-old party games.
Yeah.
And they were like, how can we adapt this to be sort of Battle Angel-y?
Yeah.
So it's like they have DDR, right? And not that what we were doing was, but like, it was like Rock Band, but not that. And the sticking your hand in the bag.
Yeah. And
it's peeled grapes. I mean, it's not in this case, but you know. And the smelling and the pin the tail on the, I mean, it's not pin the tail on the donkey, but it's like arranging the puzzle.
Yeah. And like, that's all fine. It just, I wanted it to be more impactful. I don't know.
Yeah, there was no narrative to it.
Yeah. Like, it just felt like they took the aesthetic of the world.
And they didn't even do that very well.
Yeah. And that was about it. And some, like, you know, things. Like, we did bounty hunting, for one. To be fair, we didn't go to, like, the scrapyard, which might have been more effective, or the laboratory, which were the ones that seemed to be slightly more involved.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they were always full, unfortunately. And only one group could do each thing at a time. Because basically, you're on a team, and you stick with your team, and you do one activity at a time, and then at the end, whoever has the most credit wins a coin, apparently, that does something, I assume. I assume it's not just a coin, but maybe it is. Yeah, and that's basically how it goes. But you do all these activities, and they apparently average it out by how many people in your group. Not totally clear the math behind that. Even if they had given me, like, an equation, though, I don't know if I would have understood it, so that's fair enough. But then at the end, you have to make a gamble on, what was it, Motorball?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that basically just entirely flips the leaderboard, which, I was thinking about it more, that might be something more interesting that would have happened in the middle.
Yes, actually, I absolutely agree with that.
Like, the fact that it's at the end just makes it feel kind of cheap.
Yeah.
Like, sort of like a, ooh, shock surprise factor. It's all over the place. But, the fact that it was, if it had been in the middle, then maybe it would have added some tension to the rest of it. So I've been thinking about that from the game design standpoint. But from a game design standpoint right now, it felt a little bit, like, unfair.
Oh, yeah, it felt 100% unfair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because our team was in the lead, and then we ended up in 6th place.
Yeah, yeah.
Which just, like, it just didn't seem fair.
Yeah. We lost more than you bet, also.
Did we?
I think we lost 15,000.
I did bet 15,000.
Oh, you did?
I felt embarrassed of my 10,000 bet, so I upped it to 15.
I was wondering. I was like, that doesn't seem right when we lost 15,000. But, you know.
It was right.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was interesting. It was an interesting experience. I'd never been to anything like that before, so, you know, add that to my my list of things I've done in my life.
I think we would be better at designing these kinds of things, though, than whoever designed this.
To be fair, they were working with a lot of limitations.
Yeah.
Like, that small space, it doesn't seem like they had a big budget, but it seemed like they scrimped on some stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't know, I just feel like there could have been better activities.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what they could have been, but...
It's not even, I didn't mind, the bounty hunting one and the instrument playing one. They felt, a little goofy, sure, but, it felt like in the world and, things that might goofily happen in the world and whatever. And then some of the vendor ones and the jigsaw one just was... I understand the idea behind it narratively, and I kind of liked that the robot behind us was also commenting on things as the time limit calmed down. But it was just too dark.
Yeah.
And the puzzle was too,
I guess...
in unclear. It didn't have clear edges or anything.
I always want these things to have a more physical element to them.
Yeah.
I really feel like that's what sells me on these immersive things when they have a real physical element.
Yeah.
And I don't love when it's just like, we walk a little and then we do an activity, and we walk a tiny bit and we do an activity.
Yeah, I definitely would have liked more space to move around in.
Yeah.
Like, maybe, like, not everything was visible from the other things, so you actually use your map.
Yeah.
Like, the map implied that there was more, like, corridors.
Yeah.
Of which there were definitely not. And also, like, if they had, like, each one had, like, you could have 2 teams going at one time in each activity, that might have also allowed for slightly more freedom of setting your path.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they give you a starting point, which that makes sense enough. Like, you get a random starting point so that you're not stepping all on top of each other. But then you just kind of have to hop to whatever's open at the time.
Yeah.
Which means you don't really get... As much as they're like, make a plan before you go in, you can't then really utilize that plan if it's really just, why don't you head over here next? Okay, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That said, it was an interesting experience. I think it would have been more fun, too, if we just had our own group.
Yeah. We were with 2 people that we didn't know, and they were fine.
No, they were totally fine.
Yeah, they were good at smelling stuff.
Yes.
Which I was not.
But I feel like it just would have been, I'm just imagining, like, oh, it would have been more fun if it was, like, people we knew we were working with.
No, during the smelling one, I was like, this smells like medicine. This smells like medicine. This smells like medicine.
I mean, the cherry one really did smell like medicine, because that's what medicine smells like.
Yeah. They all smelled the same to
And then
me.
she was like, stuff you put in tea, and I was like, lavender? Bergamot?
Yeah. I thought she meant like an actual kind of tea.
I know.
Because it kind of did smell like tea. I don't know. I did not smell the honey, but then again, I don't smell honey on the regular.
Honey has like a floral kind of a scent, and so that's what had me confused.
Yeah.
So, we can't say we recommend Passport to Iron City, but if you find yourself going, you'll probably still have a decently good time.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for the traffic report. I didn't think to look this up in advance, so I'm going to be finding out about the traffic as Emma does.
We don't have very much.
Yeah, it's been a slow couple of weeks on the blog. You probably picked up from the fact that I haven't played, like, any video games.
Yeah, I think maybe there's been one split screen, but we are a little behind on split screen. Been a little behind on Clickbait Boyfriends. I didn't even get a blog post out for the latest episode, if you check that regularly. We've just been a little bit all over the place just because of traveling and work and stuff like that. But we're hoping to get a little bit back on schedule soon.
Yes.
Which should be good.
Yeah, I'm exactly half an image away, and then I have to write the text, but that's easier. I'm exactly half an image away from having Clickbait Boyfriend ready to go, which is great. Well, yeah, we have one split screen. That's it. There's more stuff in the pipeline. We just have to
finish it.
We
have another split screen almost done, which I think is the finale of My Hate Academia Season 2, along with whatever episode of Boys Over Flowers that is.
Yeah.
Every episode on that feels like a finale.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so dramatic.
It's so dramatic.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. And we have another one mostly written that we just have to put together.
Yeah.
So don't worry, those will be coming back soon. Probably do it on Wednesday.
The blog is hopefully going to get back to a much more regular posting schedule.
Yes.
By the next side quest.
And we'll have new stuff coming to our YouTube pretty soon as well. And hopefully we'll come up with, do a blog post for after PAX.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe some sort of blog post once you finish Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, well, I still owe a Persona series of 100 thoughts in 120 thoughts in 120 hours. I think I'm going to do it. I just have to do it.
Yeah, just have the thoughts. Don't do, commentary on each thought, obviously.
Every once in a while I'll have a thought that requires more commentary, but it's not going to be
Yeah.
So we have big plans. It's just been a busy March here at the Talk This team. But hey, just because it's busy doesn't mean you can't keep up with what we're up to. You can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Talk This Podcast, and we're on YouTube as Talk This Sisters. So follow us there for the updates, all that good stuff. And if you want to make sure you never miss an episode, you can subscribe to the show. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, and coming soon, maybe, Pandora.
Yeah.
Plus, we're wherever podcasts are found. So, subscribe, and whenever you find your podcast, leave us a rating and a review. We love that stuff. And without further ado, let's move on in to the question of the fortnight.
So, a little bit of background. An interesting thing happening. A voice actor in Japan, a pretty, I guess, well-known one, I guess, named Pierre Taki, was recently arrested for possession of, I think it was cocaine, but some sort of drug possession and use of drugs. And Japan, not that the United States doesn't take that seriously, but usually when you're famous, like this guy, it doesn't take it that seriously. But they are really cracking down on it. The game he's in called Judgment, which is sort of the Yakuza spin-off that Ryuga Gotoku, I think, Studios has released, is being like pulled off store shelves in Japan, and it's sort of unclear what it'll mean for the Western release of it. He's also the Japanese voice of Olaf, and it's going to be probably replaced both in the upcoming Frozen 2 and in Kingdom Hearts 3, interestingly enough.
Are you sure they're just not going to mute him out? I wish they would mute him out.
You just mute him out. His mouth just moves and that's it.
I'm thinking more of the one particular fetch quest.
That you need to mute Donald on that one.
Oh,
everything looks like Olaf.
You're right.
Yeah. So that's like bewildering to me for one thing. Like it's such an extreme reaction that I just do not feel like would really happen over here.
No,
not
at
for
all.
like he wasn't even like distributing it. It just he used it.
I don't think even if someone murdered someone, this would happen in the U.S.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Like I'm like, what is the threshold of crime that
Yeah.
would have this extreme a reaction?
Yeah.
Like no idea.
I mean, it's not. I don't feel like they're doing like everything he's ever been in. It's getting changed. It really is just like recent stuff.
Yeah.
So that might be something.
I guess.
But anyway, our question is, if we were to do something that would get us pulled from our lucrative voice acting jobs in Japan, what would that be? As Madelyn implied earlier in the episode, for me it would probably be the overuse of caffeine.
Yeah.
Although I've just been trying to have coffee in the mornings nowadays because I feel like I don't sleep well if I have it in the afternoons. But if I had to get banned, I would do it with caffeine, I guess. Just be hyper all the time.
Yeah.
I'd break back into the business real fast with my limitless energy.
Yeah, that's true. They'd be like, oh no, she's just energetic.
Yeah.
She's got the caffeine problem under control.
Yes, my intense caffeine problem.
Just like straight the caffeine powder. Just like...
Just chucking those 5-hour energies.
Yeah.
One after the other.
Absolutely, mainlining them.
Yeah. When everyone else goes out to drink, I get a shot of 5-hour energy. You got your depressants? Yeah, well, here's my stimulant.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I mean, more likely for me it would be like, I just told the bad joke at the wrong time.
I feel like that's less of a problem in Japan.
I know.
It's like something I've been seeing on Twitter a lot is like, there's a pretty famous manga writer that was like, had like child pornography, but is still allowed to like publish his manga in Shonen Jump and has his characters in the Jump Force thing and
Yikes.
and some guy uses cocaine and he's erased from history. You know, it's just a little weird.
The double standard.
I know. A little bit, yeah.
I guess mine would be then for like, people would think I have a sugar problem. Just because every time I walk past dessert, I'm like, we should get that. And Josh is like, do you really want to get it? And I'm like, no, I was kidding. And I was kidding, but I wouldn't have been sad, you know?
Madelyn will just shove her face full of desserts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems about right.
Yeah.
I can go on to a successful sumo career, though. So it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I'm trying to think of, like, sillier ones. I mean, I have been banned in Japan for the music on the clickbait boyfriend.
For the use, we used Utada Hikaru's music too much, and we've been banned from Japan.
I mean, just a couple of blocked videos, so you could say we're kind of a big deal in Japan.
Yeah, we're basically on wanted list number 1.
We're gonna land and they're gonna be like,
"What are you doing? Our goddess Utada's music."
They're gonna be like checking us in at customs, and they're gonna be like, "Actually, you have a flag on your YouTube account. We can't let you in."
What if that actually happened, though?
They'll recognize Josh.
Oh no!
They'll be like, "Wait a minute."
Josh is a security threat, honestly.
He is. No, I don't think we'll know. We'll go to Japan and we'll discover. No, I know what I'll be banned for.
What?
Stealing Japanese Shibas.
That's true. They take their dogs very seriously in some corners of Japan.
I'll be a dog napper.
That's worse. That's worse than anything.
I know. Wiped from the record.
Truly. Like, it actually erased from history. They'll send the Men in Black to erase all our memories.
Oh, dear. At least I'll have a nice dog.
Yep.
Or 7.
Yeah.
Well, on that puppy-filled note, thanks for listening to Talk This week, everybody. We've been happy to have you in this audio file in your ears.
Yes.
Next week, come on back. We'll have a full episode of the show. It's about an old game and a new game.
I think it's about Braid?
That sounds right.
Yeah, and Octopath Traveler.
Right. It was definitely about Octopath Traveler, which is great because they just have that mobile game, right?
Yeah, they're coming out with the mobile prequel because there's a story there to make a prequel to, I guess.
Wow, does Emma have thoughts about Octopath Traveler? Guess you'll have to tune in next week to find out.
If you want a preview, you can go to our YouTube channel, Talk This Sisters, and watch a case study on Octopath Traveler.
Didn't you do a blog on it, too?
I also did, 10 thoughts in 12 hours, with my own comics. I was very proud of the way that Therian, Alphen, and Tressa turned out in my little chibis. So, you can check that out, too.
So it's going to be a great episode next time, folks. And then after that, we go to PAX. So it's going to be an excellent couple of weeks to be a Talk This Sister. But in the meantime, we'll be signing off for this week. Emma, wish the good people well.
I hope that this week you do not get banned in Japan.